so we'll see how this goes. This is not a podcast. Fun fact, I've said this fact before, 7% of Utah's GDP comes directly from NBA YoungBoy. The other thing I was thinking the other day is like the people who you interact with on the internet the most are going to be people who spend a lot of time on the internet. And so when you're arguing with someone on Twitter, it's just picture someone like this all day. You know those people? Yeah, the Buddha, he comes out of he comes out of the palace, right? And he experiences the real world, and he says, there's all this suffering around, and he says, this is that damn phone. The Soviet Union lying about how many tractors they're producing, but instead it's HBO Max not telling you how many people are actually watching The Last of Us. Yeah, I don't believe in the tofu drug buildings. Maybe in the 90s that was a thing. I don't think it's happening today. There's a crazy, you've been down the rabbit hole of like geopolitics YouTubers who like their whole thing is just telling you how much China is at the brink of collapse. I get those all the time where it's like, this is China's final year before collapse.
Alright, Jim, let's talk about staying off the grid while you slice and ice and ghost into the black wall. In the neon jungle of corporate surveillance, you need two things: a solid VPN to keep your signal mask and a cyber deck loaded with the right tools, like Metasploit, for when things get spicy. Most VPNs are just glorified honeypots, logging your every move for some corpo to cash in on. You want ones that keep logs, run on RAM-only servers, and don't buckle under pressure. Cause pigs, bull rat. No BS, no logs, anonymous signups. Proton VPN, Swiss-made, privacy-focused, and built by the same crew behind Proton Mail. iVPN, another solid no-log operator that lets you play with Monero for extra layer of shadow. Slap one of these on your rig and route your traffic through multiple servers, and boom, you're skating through the net like an legend. Jump shoo!
Oh, speaking of stuff you don't know, did you ever watch Cypher in the Snow?
No.
When you were growing up? So Cypher in the Snow, it's a Utah production video. Like it's like one of those old PSA videos that you would show you in like health class or at church or whatever. And this one, it started with a child riding a bus, and it's in the 70s, and he's riding this bus, and he goes up to the bus driver and says, "Hey, can I be let out?" And the bus driver just stops on the side of the road and opens the doors, and the kid just falls out and fucking dies. And so everybody's in the town is trying to figure out why this child just walked off the school bus and died, because he fell into the snow, right? So he's the Cypher in the snow. Why do you think the child fell over and died? It's a PSA. So the answer is because nobody loved him. And if people loved him, he wouldn't have just died. That was the moral of the story, is if people gave him attention, like his parents were absent and nobody was friends with him at school and the teachers didn't care, and so he just fucking died. Just brings up the topic of why I don't think teachers should be allowed to teach children how to drive. I don't know why they decided high school teachers were the best people to instruct children to drive cars. Because if you look at it statistically, 50% of the space shuttles that have exploded in the sky were driven by teachers. Yeah. So you get in a car with a teacher, you flip a coin. My wife coined a new term called small business slop. We went to the mall and there was like this store, and it was just little like small business expo kind of stuff. And it was just a bunch of 3D printed doohickeys that were all the same. They all get the same STL files of like the little dragons that like move around and the fidget toys. It's all the same. And then they use that like rainbow plastic filament. And then the other thing you see are those off-brand Legos of Dragon Ball characters. Yeah, the little teeny Legos are another one. No, they're like minifigures.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the little small Legos too are another thing you see in those little small business fronts. You also see soap. You also see like really bad paintings.
Yep.
And anyway, she told me that it's small business slop pilled. And I kind of agree with her. It's drop shipping IRL is what it is.
Right? That's a really... I think your wife's definitely onto something.
Do you know what a stylite is in history? All right, so let me just tell you what these are. So it's these giant towers, all right, and it's only enough where one guy can live on it, and he would never. The guy, there would be like a hermit up there, and he would never leave the tower, and people would have to like give him food and stuff, and he would just stand up there preaching Christianity like all day. Well, I feel like that is kind of weird because if that guy was alive today, he would just be streaming RuneScape. That would just if Asmongold lived in the medieval times, he'd be one of those like dingy old hermits living on a stylite, yelling about stuff like day and night, and people would just donate him food. This stuff has been happening for longer than people think. I have a conspiracy theory that Impractical Jokers was all real.